little time.
Jedediah, have these brothers given radical Islam a bad name?
Oh, yeah, of course. And no one else has, right? I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing to me that the media still has trouble with that. You know, Islamic fundamentalism, Islamic extremism. They have a really hard time talking about these things. Until we're comfortable talking about these things and the president's comfortable being direct and talking about these things, we're not going to get anywhere, because that's the problem. It's not about some random kids that did some random act. These are people who follow an ideology that intends to kill, that intends to harm. And until we're willing to talk about that and accept it, this is going to go on and on.
Joe, what do you think? And please include no in your answer.
Well, no. I agree. I read an article today saying that they were alienated by American culture, and then I looked at the facts of their lifestyle in America, and they were participating in activities. They were getting money for schools. One even was married at 26. They were doing better than me, and they were alienated by American culture.
Yeah, they had a pretty good life. They had nice cars. The guy's first wife was kind of cute. But she was really, before she converted, and she looked like Susan Day in her prime. If anybody ever watched The Partridge Family. I'm old. Phil, Joe Hare's condition has been upgraded from serious to fair, meaning that he is in better shape than you are. Not a question.
Yeah, no, I'll just let it resonate. It's funny that you mentioned that dude and his condition compared to mine, because, no joke, I was going to go to Boston the second weekend after this whole thing went down and they were still on loose. And I was thinking about it, particularly from faraway looks of Joe Hare. Me just traipsing. I was going to stay in Watertown. I was staying with a friend of mine at Watertown. Me with my hair sort of wind-swept a little bit like this, looking a little clueless, decided I wanted to wear my hat backwards. I could be a dead man right now, Greg.
Why didn't you go?
Well, that was not the response I was hoping for. I was hoping for, thank God, we almost lost a red-eyed treasure.
I thought I was going to get through this week without somebody I know having a harrowing bull experience. I was almost there. It could have been me.
I just wrote that down. I go, another tangential story. That used to happen.
Mine wasn't forlorn.
Do you know I almost wore my Red Sox hat that day. That's how close to the tragedy I was.
Do you know, when Hurricane Katrina hit, on the Huffington Post, there were so many people going, oh, I was in New Orleans like 7 years ago. I was just thinking about going to Mardi Gras. Everybody does this thing where they have to attach themselves.
Dude, for real, I have a niece named Katrina, so ease up a little bit. Some people it actually hit.
Yeah. Well, you know, okay, to your point, Jedediah, I have a theory. How do you get over this Islamic fear? You start calling them Muslim supremacists, because that's what they are. They're Muslim supremacists. So they're like white supremacists. We don't like white supremacists. We don't like KKK or the Aryan Brotherhood. That makes it easier for everybody to go, because it's odd that you have to call them racist in order to hate them more than you were already supposed to hate them. You should already hate them for being terrorists. But in America, you got to be racist too. That wasn't really a question.
I think the supremacist thing, media is only comfortable with that, though, if it has the word white in front of it. Once you take that word away, because if you plugged in any other word, if you plugged in, you know, African-American supremacist, then that would be a bad thing. Or if you plugged in any other word other than white, I don't know that the media would be comfortable talking about it.
All right, then. From
marathon bomber is motivated by Islam. Jesse, you brought up Inspire magazine, saying it's a kind of a weird name for an Al-Qaeda magazine.
Yeah.
Not really. They're trying to inspire jihad.
Yeah, well, like, doesn't Rolling Stone Your Women sound a lot better?
Well, the thing is, you said you had, what, 14 minutes to get ready for the show, and you had to choose between ironing and coming up with the names of radical Islamic magazines?
Yeah.
Yeah, next time go with the ironing.
See, what, this is payback for other shows. He wants this show.
Jedediah, you said until we're ready to talk about how these people are motivated by radical Islam, this isn't going to stop. I don't think it's going to stop even if we do. I think you're right. We need to start. Those of us who aren't doing it need to start doing it, but I don't think it's going to stop.
Probably not going to stop either way, but we'll be better prepared to handle it, deal with it, you know, try to prevent what we can if we're at least acknowledging what the root cause of it is. If we don't, then why even bother?
Yeah. No, I agree. But if, you know, if it turns out, which it sort of looks like it is, that these guys were sort of not tied to any specific terrorist group, it's really tough to track those guys.
True, but they're still tied to a certain ideology. They're still tied to a certain way of thinking. So you have to hold that accountable for what's being produced, even if you don't have a specific Al-Qaeda link.
No, absolutely. And USA Today is now reporting that the mosque the brothers attended does have radical ties. More shocking news.
You know who else has radical ties?
Me.
Yeah, I love that one with the little clown faces.
Yeah.
He's got one that looks like a piano.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Piano keys, because he's a musician.
But you know what he does sometimes? He'll wear that over his tuxedo T-shirt, and it's like redundant.
It's ironically redundant.
Yes, hey, let's pile it on, huh?
You know, it's rad-dundant is what it is.
He actually has a tie that says that.
I do, actually, yeah. Greg, I can't believe you didn't bring up the fact, Greg, that the older brother was apparently a big fan of Alex Jones.
I forgot about that because I don't like giving Alex Jones any press.
Yeah.
So, well, actually, I didn't forget about it because I didn't want to give him any press.
Hey, Andy, do you think you can maybe lend Greg one of your radical ties so he looks less like a mandolin player on a cruise ship?
I like that.
He looks like the kind of guy, yeah, you're right, though. He's the kind of, you would give him money to make him go away and stop playing.
Yeah, and then he would take that money and then offer to sleep with your wife.
Yes, exactly. I kind of look like the waiter that hangs out at the bar.
After hours.
Yeah, I'm swarthy.
Oh, another good point. The UN Human Rights Council's Palestine monitor, he blames the bombings on America's geopolitical fantasy of global domination.
Okay.
Lovely.
As usual.